This is video number 4 in my series on course outcomes. This one's about integration of management accounting and financial accounting concepts in a business setting. And this is kind of a funny story. I had a call from a very angry engineer. He was convinced that that oil was being stolen. That he was convinced that he was looking at the numbers every which way, and he could not figure out why we were producing 1,000 cubes of oil, but only 800 had been sold. And this had been sort of a pattern he'd been noticing from quarter to quarter to quarter. And he was just absolutely convinced that there was something nefarious going on. And I had kind of heard this secondhand, so I brought myself into this. Another production accountant had this brought to her, and she was a little nervous about dealing with this engineer. And to be honest, so was I. So I looked into it, and there was something to it. He was sending us the numbers he had, and sure enough, showing that we were producing 1,000 cubes of oil. 800 were sold. Where was the missing 200? And in his mind, it was immediately something really bad was going on, and there was theft afoot. But what it turned out to be was work in progress. So this is something that I learned about in management accounting through SAIT. And I think dealing with him was also sort of something I learned through, I guess, business communications as well as organizational behavior, and helping my fellow production accountant out. I think that was also something I learned from organizational behavior, possibly a little bit of leadership. But basically what it came down to was he was only looking at sort of the final numbers that were pulled in from the same places, but it doesn't really tell the whole story. What was actually going on was we had an opening inventory of around 50 cubes of oil. We produced 1,000. That lined up with what he was telling us. Sales of 800. But what he wasn't considering was the closing inventory of 250, as well as the opening inventory. So that's where his estimation of the 200 cubes of oil that were missing each quarter came from. So it turned out to be opening plus production equals 1,050 minus 800. You're left with 250 sitting in the tanks still. So the oil that he was missing was actually still on the site. It just hadn't been sold yet. So I thought that was kind of an interesting little experience. And me and that engineer, he doesn't seem to get on with a lot of people. I get along with him very well now. I went to his office. I drew this on his whiteboard, and we sat there, and I tried to just kind of make him, just to reassure him that everything was okay. But it was very funny how this went from sort of, he was ready to, start making some really angry calls and bring legal into this, where it actually turned out to be something very simple. And I'm really glad I had that conversation with him, and he and I are very good friends, and he helped out with any sort of engineering questions I have as well. And it's those sort of moments that make me happy to do what I do.